Hello, this is African View with me, Yodita Maso. The tourism and hotel industry is a vital part of a country's economy, and Ethiopia is doing her part in promoting tourism and taking a lot of tourists into the country. But there are challenges and obstacles in every way. So for this edition to talk about the hotel and tourism sector and its challenge, I'm joined by two experts. They are going to introduce themselves. Can I start with you, Mr. Lulsagad? Tell us about yourself and then.
My name is Lulsagad Masala, Intercontinental Hotel General Manager and Ethiopian Hotel Professional Association's President. I'm working here. In addition, also I'm an international hotel tourism advisor. I just came to this country in Ethiopia 2040, in the end of 2040 by the Ethiopian government invitation to do the Ethiopian hotel classifications. So I had been working there also as well, and now currently also I'm here and I'm helping my country. Still I'm here, and I have also Ethiopian Tourism Minister think tank group. I'm a board member for that.
And also we have a legendary pioneer in the Ethiopian tourism sector, Dr. Tedros. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Thank you. My name is Theodros Atlabacho. I've been working in the tourism sector since 1983 and leading the various different departments and running some World Bank and UNDP financed national projects. Now I have retired. I'm travel and tourism consultant and also president of the Ethiopian Tourism Professionals Association and chairman of the newly established National Tourism think tank.
Thank you very much, our experts. Thank you for coming here. So why don't we start with the concept of tourism and hotel? They go hand in hand. And when we talk about tourists coming to Ethiopia or to any destination, we have an international standard of hotels. Why do we need to have international standard? It has to be the same every country, or what does it mean? Why do we need international standards?
Well, that's actually it's a very, very good question. Hotels, they should have to have international standards, because once they have international standard, all hotels will be the same. If you find that now, tourists, a lot of tourists coming from developed countries, they have good experience. So when they come to in Africa countries, they should have to have a good standard, because of the country itself also as well. Very high degree of recognition will get it because of that. A lot of tourists coming. Once you have the standard, they know that they have good security. They know that also standard which is well known internationally, and they know that also continuous further development for classification standard. There's a big improvement also as well. So if you have a standard of hotel classification, people they know that there is safety there, and also there is food hygiene safety also as well, because even the staff also train the staff, because also different type of restaurants, different type of rooms, and then international understanding. When you say like that, there is also uniform measure of quality standards. It should have to be the same. If there is American hotels and the English hotels in Ethiopia or in Kenya, 5-star must be the same standard. So that should have to be do that way. In Ethiopia, when you come to Ethiopia, if I give you in Ethiopia, when you have done this hotel classification in Ethiopia by the World Tourism Organizations, Ethiopia is first recognition getting from East Africa. In East Africa, number one getting from World Tourism Organizations. Ethiopia is the first country to do the hotel classification in East Africa in 2014. That's really good, remarkable, good. At that time, tourism is also they are very strong bond working together as zeros. So also abiding also hotel classification is an international benchmark for the travel industry. The travel industry itself will ask. So they have a confidence for that when they send this one. So that's why Ethiopia also getting this kind of advantage by doing hotel classifications. So a competitive advantage and overall ungraded of hotels. For instance, they have some hotels, they should have to be competition together with them. That standard need to be also reviewed within 2-3 years time. So that's all. And also high credibility due to the international uniform quality standard. They should have to get that also as well. And also it's easier to do international marketing for each country. Because once you have, they know that you have international standard for the hotels, people, they come straight away. They know that the American hotel is the same, the English hotel is the same. And also access to marketing platform for tourism. So people are coming, they choose themselves. They choose the different of destinations, hotels. It's very attractive. So really, it's very important. That's why Ethiopia is really very improving with this tourism, especially with a lot of tourists coming. But still we are expecting a lot. We need to work hard. But after classification, people are coming to visit in Ethiopia. So the standard must be always reviewed within 3 years' time.
Okay, that's really impressive. I'm sure we need international standards to have guests that come here to have their expectations, the hotels up to the standard. But from what I've observed, and some studies indicate that in Ethiopia, when it comes to tourists, most of them, or a certain percent of them, they don't stay in high places. Some of them are backpackers. The recent trend is backpacking and coming to lower places. And some of them prefer to have a historical hotels, to go to historical hotels. For example, like Taitu Hotel and some other hotels, they are lower in price, but the tourists, they want historical thing to go to. So what do you say, Doctor? We need the international standards, but also what about these hotels? And
thank you. As Lusagad has described it, normally these hotel classification standards are established simply to satisfy requirements of customers. In this particular case, tourists. Tourism is an international business, as you know. So a person living far away in Australia or America or Canada, when he wants to travel somewhere in Africa or Ethiopia or somewhere else, he needs to have accommodation services, food services, and other services, so that he wanted to know before he traveled what type of services he is expecting. So that's why hotels and other accommodation establishments are classified. So this classification, there are different types of classification in the world. The one which is popular and is implemented in Ethiopia is star categorization. So this is star classification system from 1 star to 5 star. That means there are minimum criteria a 1 star or 2 star or 5 star hotel must have. Those minimum criteria, after evaluating those criteria, then the classification is done and then standard is given for that particular hotel. And as you have mentioned, there are also various accommodation establishments like lodges, like cultural houses, like campsites, whatever. These are included in the accommodation establishment, but they may not have. In some countries they have classification, but mostly they may not have that classification. So it is up to the preference of the customer, the tourists. So normally when tourists coming for a conference wanted to make booking in a given country, say in Ethiopia, he wanted to see what type of hotels are available and their prices and locations. So then you will see in the list there are 5-star, 3-star, 2-star, whatever hotels, and what they offer and everything. So he chooses. Say, for example, he chooses a 5-star or 4-star hotel. Then when he comes, without coming here, he will know, he will be sure the type of services he is expecting is there. Like for example, there might be unclassified hotels who can give higher quality of services, but if they are not known, it's bad for the marketing. No one knows, no one can be sure to make booking on these particular types of hotels. So that's why this classification of accommodation establishments, particularly hotels, is very essential for the marketing purposes. In Ethiopia, I started 1989, and then in collaboration with the World Tourism Organization, we trained our staff and tried to develop classification standards. And then finally it was implemented officially. It was enacted in 1991. And then since then we started classification and giving certain standards, different types of standards for the hotels. And that classification only was dealing for hotels only. And then lately it was revised so that it will include other accommodation establishments and other tourist service rendering enterprises as well. So that is the main reason classification of hotels is very important.